Today I am here to talk to you about the handsome Carl Ransom Rogers, one of the most influential American psychologists of the 20th century. First off, some background knowledge. Carl Rogers was born in 1902 in Illinois and had died in 1987, so about 85 years old. Rogers had gone to about three different post-secondary institutions, including University of Wisconsin, where he had joined a fraternity named Alpha Kappa Lambda. He had also attended Union Theological Seminary in New York and Teachers College of Columbia University, where he earned his MA and his PhD in clinical psychology. Rogers was one of the founders of the humanistic psychology movement, which got more popular in the 20th century because it was an alternative to the more rigid approaches of psychoanalysis and behaviorism. He wrote a book called Counseling and Psychotherapy, 1967. This book, which first presented his belief that establishing a relationship with an accepting and understanding therapist would help clients resolve their problems and gain insight into their lives. Sigmund Freud emphasized unconscious drives and the way they motivate much of our behavior, and B.F. Skinner emphasized external conditioning and how behavior is shaped by external factors. Rogers focused on the whole person, meaning their experiences, feelings, and innate capacity for growth. Carl Rogers was best known for his client-centered approach, where the client is put at the heart of therapy. So instead of the therapist diagnosing or directing the client, the therapist sets up a warm and comforting environment for the client. The client-centered approach is very similar to the idea of a student-based classroom in the way that the student is the center of operation. The student is the one learning, therefore should be able to learn the way they are able to. There's so much differentiation in the classroom, which makes it hard for every student to learn in their own unique way. However, if you are able to create a type of environment where every student is right in their own way, but they have to explain why they are right, that would be a student-centered approach. Rogers believed that under the right conditions, people naturally work towards growth and healing. Humans have this passion for growth, where they like to know things just to know. For example, if you were to see someone constructing something you have never seen before in the middle of the street, your mind is going to wonder and make up scenarios of what they could be building. Sometimes you may even ask the person what on earth they are doing. Basically, Rogers' approach had the client leading the therapy sessions. The therapist doesn't ask leading questions or guide the conversation. The therapist's job is to be there for the client in a comforting way. The therapist is more of a facilitator, not an advisor in this case. Although Rogers' ideas were mainly focused on therapy, it has also greatly influenced education. He believed that learning is most effective when it is student-centered, not teacher-directed. His book, Freedom to Learn, 1969, became a cornerstone text for progressive educators. A quote from Rogers: "When someone truly hears you without passing judgment on you, it feels damn good." Relevance in education today. Rogers' influence is visible in student-centered learning and constructivist curriculum design. Many modern practices such as cooperative learning, project-based instruction, and individualized education plans reflect his emphasis on empathy and self-directed growth. During the 1950s and 60s, classrooms were often rigid and teacher-directed. Students were expected to memorize and obey. Rogers' ideas challenged this norm, arguing that students learn best when they feel understood and respected. His thinking also underpins the idea of the teacher as a facilitator rather than a lecturer, which aligns with contemporary frameworks like universal design for learning and 21st century skills development. For children, this means classrooms that encourage curiosity and exploration, support emotional safety and belonging, help students develop not just knowledge, but confidence, autonomy, and resilience. In short, Carl Rogers shifted both therapy and education from a model of authority and control to one of respect, empathy, and empowerment. His work reminds us that learning is not simply absorbing facts, it's a deeply personal process of growth. As educators, remembering Rogers' message that every student has an innate potential to learn and flourish, they can guide how we design curricula, build relationships, and shape the future of schooling. Thank you for listening to my presentation.